That was not what I was hoping for. I thought I could press this out of there, but oh, now I see. Actually, a very clever design where it's kind of shaped like this, like a barrel, and so when the aluminium around it cools, it shrinks a little bit, and it pulls this tight from every direction, like it really locks it in. So a clever design, but you can't press it out of there. Welcome back to my garage. It's cold. Welcome back to my garage. Last time we snagged the ring in the exhaust port. The reason for that is not because the port is too wide or anything. The reason is that when I sent it off for plating, I forgot to chamfer or create a radius of the top edge of the exhaust port, and we snagged the ring, and then I radiused that edge because the plating wasn't really destroyed, and I radiused the edge after the fact, and it's been running fine with that radiused edge after that. But the problem is that radius was bare aluminium and then the plating, and as the aluminium wore, the ring managed to grab like under the plating, and now the plating is destroyed. So it's currently sitting in a mild detergent and stripping the plating. Mild. And last time we also discovered that there is something going on with there's lots of loss in my belt drive down to from my belt primary down to a jack shaft sitting where the crankshaft should have been sitting in the AM6 engine. It makes sense because there's so little torque in this small engine that just a tiny torque loss early on, like say you're losing 5 Newton meters early on, that makes a huge difference. That's pretty much half the torque. And say there's like 5 Newton meters of loss in the chain for the wheel. Well, that doesn't make a difference at all because there's so much more torque going on there because it's been multiplied by the gearbox. We're gonna make a quick and dirty brake disc dyno, direct drive. Currently a 7.6 to 1 reduction. Hopefully won't be too fast for a normal brake disc. Probably not this brake disc. People have suggested this, and the reason I haven't like created something simple like this earlier is that it's there will be lots of heat created, and so you can't do like multiple runs in a row and stuff. Probably I could actually submerge this in water, have the whole brake assembly running in water. That could work, but anyways, for short bursts tests, like short 10-second runs, probably fine. So this can be used for finding absolute power, and it's not really that important, but what's important about it is to find out if there's something fundamentally wrong with the engine and it's not creating more than half of the power it should be creating, or if it's actually creating lots of power and we need to focus on details and the finesse. And so to see if which approach is necessary for this to work. Is something fundamentally wrong, or is it just the details? Like a water brake would be better, and then you could do the long runs and stuff, but much more complicated and much more hassle. And this is pretty much just a caliper, a brake disc, and this. I'm gonna sleeve the engine and fix the port height problems. Get the exhaust port down to where it should have been, and get the transfers up to where they should have been in relation to the exhaust port. And also I'm gonna do 2 bridges versus 1 in the middle, because even though it would be better, I am eventually going to cast a new cylinder with the proper 3 duct design, because just 2 bridges isn't optimal, but better than a bridge in the middle, because the port will be more like probably flow a little bit better and better, easier life for the ring. The reason I'm removing the plating is because it's not like there's silicon carbide, it's a nickel seal coating, so my carbide tools are just as hard as the coating, or the coating is just as hard, and so tool life will be very short. So that's why I need to strip it before I can machine the cylinder. Cylinder is stripped of the plating. I'm waiting for the sleeves to arrive. So until then, we're gonna focus on the engine dyno. If we're lucky now, we can just reuse this and mill this down a bit so this registers, and drill and tap some holes. We're gonna see if the caliper clears. If it does, then Bob's your uncle. It's going to be a tight fit, but it does clear. And now the caliper is sitting lower than what it's supposed to. It's supposed to sit. It's supposed to sit like that. So this will work. This will work. I'm gonna machine down the outer part of this so that there's a circular thing this can register to, and then drill and tap holes. Here's that new liner I'm machining, waiting for the material. You can see the twin bridges, and this is a scarecrow I've created to be able to machine this as accurately as possible, and without having to do with minimizing manual work afterwards, in lack of a 5-axis machine. Looking at it, I actually think I'll redesign it so that I can hold the cylinder from the inside, from this side instead, and I think that'll be better. So I'll have a look at it. I feel like I should have gotten much more done up until now, because the whole of Friday, actually Thursday also, I think, last week, and also yesterday, but you know how it's been this year, like pretty much from middle summer and onwards, with all the psychological stuff going on, and sometimes it pops up again. Things, well, actually all the time it's there. But the thing is that what's difficult about the whole process here is how I've always felt I've been really connected to my emotional side. And I've actually kind of been, but the problem is I haven't felt my feelings at all. I like unconsciously just compartmentalized stuff, and so it's completely new to me to feel feelings. I was aware of feelings, but I never felt them, and now it's sometimes a really difficult thing to. Just to deal with feelings. It probably might not be relatable to some of you probably, but not most of you. So it's completely new to me and overwhelming oftentimes to feel feelings, and not just being aware of them and being able to logically explain feelings, but actually feeling feelings and allowing yourself to feel the feelings and not having that be overwhelming. That's a new thing. I had to spend a considerable amount of time vacuuming and digging all this out of the milling cabinet, like almost to the point where I had to dig the mill out of this. The problem is that there's such a large surface area with all this stuff in there, and the coolant like clings to it and then evaporizes. So I run through coolant really fast. Really should clean the mill up more often. Here's an existing bearing carrier from my old dyno setup. I'll mount it like this, and then we'll have the brake caliper sitting like this, and it'll have to be connected to a torque arm that is rotating around the same axis as this, and then the other part of that torque arm will be connected to the load cell, which is over here. Well, you can't see it, but so that's the plan. Trip the breaker. That switch is not in the best condition, and I can't turn the breaker back on, which means there's a short circuit in there now. Let's hope I can get that fixed quickly, because a tapped hole in the other end is the last lathe operation we need to get done today. I'll be back after a little bit of switch surgery. It's tempting to recreate what just happened, but I won't. I forgot to pull the cord and got shocked. It's not the first time. There's some dirt in this metal which I'm not able to grind away. It's popping up. Doesn't matter, it's probably strong enough. What's clever about having the caliper mount a part of the axle that this is rotating on is that it eliminates or it takes the losses from these bearings out of the equation, because bearing drag is the same. Bearing drag is pushing on the caliper, so if the drag is coming from the brake or the bearings, doesn't make a difference. So losses in these bearings are out of the equation, which is nice. That's as far as we'll get this time. The dyno is pretty much done. It's like I can manually control the braking now, and the RPM sensor is like the engine already has the RPM sensor, and I can just put in the ratio in your dyno software. So we won't get much further now without those sleeves. They're on their way. Merry Christmas, and I'll see you next time.